So I'm here with Rob Sampson. I'm honored to have him back. We've talked before. We've seen him many times around Connecticut, and he is fighting the good fight in Hartford. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Glad to be with you, Todd.
So you're a state senator, and there's a lot going on in Hartford. They're trying to jam through a lot of stuff. Tell us what's happening in the great state of Connecticut.
Yeah, sadly, the majority party in this state of Connecticut, because of their extreme majorities and the fact that they have been in office in a majority for a long, long time now, it's going on 40 years, except for a small blip where we had a Republican governor and a lieutenant governor who became governor after, where they were hamstrung by the extreme majorities in the legislature. So the Democrats are used to being in power, and they control all the levers of that power. And it seems like what they're trying to do is to create a sanctuary state for progressive ideas and progressive people in Connecticut. And I've noticed this very interesting situation where they're putting forward bills that I think are designed primarily not just to put forward bad policy, but also to send a message to the people of Connecticut. Certainly, lawful gun owners are a target. Folks that homeschool are a target. People that value their medical freedom for themselves and their children. People that want to be in charge of their child's instruction in school or out of school. They're all a target. And the Democrats in Connecticut are trying to make it very clear that this is a hostile place, and that maybe you'd be more comfortable somewhere else. It almost seems like that's the message they're trying to send, because I think the Democrats would gladly see those folks leave to be replaced by maybe some folks fleeing Mondani in New York.
So you think it's more about getting people to leave? So that a lot of people have left Connecticut. I think there's been a net outflow for several years now, especially on the higher income scale. What would that look like in Connecticut when you do get a lot of the wealth leaving and a lot of the, for lack of a better word, patriots leaving? What does it look like? What's the end goal?
I mean, I think what's going on is that the Democrats in Connecticut are looking around the country, and they're seeing Republicans having a resurgence. We have control of the White House, we control Congress, we control the majority of state houses across the land. And I think what they're doing is they're trying to be the place to be. If you're a progressive Democrat, come to Connecticut. That's why they're concerned with talking about housing, creating more available housing. I think they want to actually enable an influx of people that share their political ideology. And so it's a combination of things. They're making policies that actually benefit people that believe in a progressive socialist state. They're making policy that is damning, dangerous, hostile, and difficult to live with. If you're a business owner or if you're a free citizen who values your civil liberties, they're making it harder. So it's all about changing the future political ideology of the state of Connecticut, which is something they've been doing for a long time, but I think they're doing it on a much grander scale.
So you mentioned homeschooling. I mean, that's really disturbing, because that's one way to keep the family unit intact and to keep your view of the world intact and your I don't want to say ideology, but your values. But also the housing you've mentioned, they're taking over a lot of the zoning or trying to in the local communities. Am I correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. They're trying to basically turn things on their head, as progressive Democrats are apt to do. They don't recognize Connecticut or America as a representative republic. They view the government as the controlling entity. They believe in top-down power and control. And that's just another example of it. They don't like the individual communities to determine what they look like, where they're going to develop and place, new residential and commercial structures. So the state's trying to take over. And of course, there's a lot of advocacy organizations involved in that. There are folks that certainly want to engage in the activity of building new real estate, real property, which I'm probably in agreement with them on a lot of things, except for overriding the will and wishes of the residents that are involved. But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't end well. Connecticut is a beautiful place with 169 very unique towns that have their own character. and we start to dismantle the local planning and zoning structure and replace it with a state structure, you get a lot of nonsense. You get apartment buildings, next to large, affluent residential community neighborhood homes. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's almost like they are trying to take the class warfare argument almost to a level of punishment. Instead of just relying on this, fake narrative that they create to make the average person into a victim who has to blame others for their lack of success. They're looking to actually act on it by creating penalties.
Wow, that's disturbing. What about elections? How are they doing anything towards the elections this session?
Oh yes. So they forced through a constitutional amendment, and I say forced through, even though the people of Connecticut did vote for it by a slim margin, but they misled the public in Connecticut by failing to mention that these are elections that are not in person. And the question was already a true statement. This constitutional amendment would allow anyone to vote by absentee, which of course anyone can if they fit the parameters. But what they're creating is a mechanism for making it extremely not only easy to vote, but also easy to cheat. Because while they are expanding access to voting, they're doing absolutely nothing to protect the sanctity or integrity of the election process. We don't have any photo ID in the state. I offered an amendment on Friday in committee for photo ID requirements for voting in person and for mail-in voting, and it was voted down on a party line vote. I tried to offer amendments to create a mechanism like other states that have a lot of mail-in voting have to track the process. From the time someone registers to vote, they're given a unique ID in places that have mail-in voting, so you can actually track that person and who received the absentee ballot and who returned it. They're opening up the floodgates to ultimately sending ballots out to every person in the state, whether they're legitimate, moved on, relocated to another state, eligible to vote, whether they're even alive. And that just creates a mess. We saw it in 2020, and I think that this would be even worse.
What about the judiciary? Is it being captured as well in Connecticut, do you think?
Well, certainly. When you have significant Democratic majorities in both chambers, and the appointing entity is the governor of the state, also a Democrat for the last 20 years, you end up in a situation where all of the judicial appointments go to people that have a left of center worldview. And I think that our courts reflect that. And so does the life on the street for Connecticut residents, who obviously are aware that criminals are given more of a pass than ever before. You hear about people finally being nabbed for some crime, and then you discover they have a rap sheet a mile long. It's like, what was this person doing outside of prison to begin with? Hamstringing the police officers, taking away qualified immunity, eliminating police chases and consent searches, and just basically making it harder to do your job as a cop, and much harder for the prosecutors to actually prosecute real live criminals.
A warm welcome here at the National Press Club. Welcome to the journalists, welcome to the Embra team, and welcome to the other guests that we have here. We're going to announce, and as some of you guessed it right when they came in, the first E2 order by an American operator. And that operator is Avello. We believe this is really a strategic shift to unlock profitability for the customer. I'm very pleased that we have Andrew Levy here as the CEO of Avello, and I'm very pleased to give the stage to share a little bit more about what Avello is going to do with the E2 195. Thank you very much.
Couldn't be more excited to be here as part of this historic announcement. We have such a great cultural fit as companies, so we're very, very excited to be Embraer's newest customer. We launched our airline in April of 21, and our target is focusing on small secondary airports of large metro areas. We've carried over 8 million customers since we started on 63,000 flights. And we've done all these things with 1,200 of the greatest crew members I could ever imagine having, and many of them are here with me today. This is the right airplane for us. It's going to open up opportunities for us that no other aircraft can serve. The best thing about the airplane, of course, is you will not find a middle seat on this airplane. It doesn't exist. We won't have any to offer. It's going to be the best cabin in the United States, and we're so excited about that. This is going to elevate our experience to the highest level, and we think our customers are absolutely going to love the airplane.
All for the sake of scoring political points in urban environments.
So Senator Blumenthal, I was sent, actually it's his son, Matt Blumenthal, I believe, that came out of a committee meeting today, and basically I'm told by our editor in Connecticut, bragging about what he just did. Did you happen to see that at all?
Oh, yes. Well, it was from Friday night.
Okay.
I serve on the Government Administration and Elections Committee, and I sit right next to Representative Blumenthal. And they brought us in on Friday with an agenda with 52 items on it, which they provided to us at the statutory deadline the day before at 5:55 p.m. So, I mean, it's a pile of paper, Todd. You wouldn't believe it's more than a ream of paper. It's like this. In fact, I put out a little video about what they were doing to us also, which was giving us all this information at the 11th hour. And then, of course, they replaced most of it. Like about half the bills they replaced with what's called substitute language. And of course, no one has time to read this. What are my attorneys going to stay up all night long? And then when are they going to explain it to us? So I ended up, going through that committee meeting with Mr. Blumenthal and our colleagues, which started around 12 noon on Friday until almost midnight.
Wow.
Because my view is that if they're not going to give us the information and an opportunity to review it behind the scenes, we're going to get it all out in the open during the public meeting, and that's what I did.
And how did that go?
Well, they passed through their items, although we did actually force them to pull a number of items off the agenda, either because of time or because of the confrontational aspect of the debate that was going on. But they passed their bills. They passed their bill to enable mail-in voting for everyone in the state without any protocol or protections. They passed a number of bills that basically limit freedom and grow government and create bureaucracies that consider citizens guilty until proven innocent. Wow.
Connecticut's got a long road to hoe ahead of it. Anything else you want the public to know?
Yeah, well, I mean, the process is something that I think people should be aware of. If I could just spend a minute on that.
Yeah.
The Democrats in Connecticut, because of their majorities, they've always had an advantage from a process standpoint. The majority party controls the chairmanships of every committee. So they both basically decide, what the agendas are, when we're going to meet, what we're going to do. All of the bills that are proposed by all lawmakers in both parties all end up in front of the chairman of the various committees. And they can decide, look, this is Sampson's bill, and no, I don't like it. It goes right in the trash. So it's never even heard. Or they can take my bill and they can decide they like it and still throw it in the trash and maybe draft a similar one with their own name on it. Both of these things happen. Then, of course, they give us very little notice for the meetings. But what they've done to lawmakers over time is bad enough, but now they're doing it to the public directly. We had public hearings all on the same day for more nonsensical gun control, for interfering with the right of families to homeschool, and for medical mandates, all on the same exact day. And the thing is that when they passed these, had the hearings for these, they decided to limit the time of the hearing. They told people, even though you signed up, we're going to shut off the hearing at midnight. And to me, that's just unacceptable. I mean, if people are going to take the time out of their busy schedules to come up here, especially someone who wants to do it at 1 a.m, you should let them, right?
Yeah.
Republicans actually kept the hearing alive even after the Democrats adjourned the hearing to make sure people had their voices heard. But it's a scary thing when you hear the majority behaving in this manner. I've had the Speaker of the House reference to the media just recently that my microphone is in danger. Senator Sampson likes his microphone so much, but he better be careful, otherwise it's going to be taken away. Wow. This is not conducive to a representative republic, and people should be paying attention.
That is scary. What's the top 1 or 2 things people should do right now if they're in Connecticut and concerned?
I want to see people more engaged. I think that's our biggest issue. Todd, I think you probably share my view on that, is that if people actually knew what was happening, things would be a little different. I have noticed actually that in recent years, things that probably the Democrats would have been willing to do without a care in the world, with zero shame, maybe they have 5% shame now. So we're moving in the right direction. We got a long way to go, though, but I do believe that some of the things that are showing up in the news media are drawing some more attention to the Connecticut legislature. The various corruption stories.
Yes.
We had the Costas Diamantis case. We had the gentleman who was the the Connecticut University systems president, got caught misusing his expense account, even though this is a guy who makes $440,000 a year. He's out buying steak dinners on the taxpayers' time. Numerous, politically motivated earmarks that we've drawn a lot of attention to. So I think that even the news media is starting to pay a little more attention. Frankly, I think it's because people are frustrated. I feel like they think that their voice doesn't matter, or they can't change anything. That's not true. I'm just a guy who in 2010 was yelling at my TV because I was frustrated during the Obama midterm, and I saw it as an opportunity to get involved. And so here I am, making as much noise as I can at the state government level.
Well, free media is critically important. You're right. Media makes a huge difference. Senator Sampson, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with us. Appreciate it.
It's totally my pleasure, Todd. Thank you for